Hi, welcome back. Today I'll share with you how to make soft and very fluffy sandwich bread. This is a beginner-friendly recipe, and every step you need to make a perfect loaf of bread from scratch is clearly explained and outlined in this simple to follow video. Learn how to make your own bread to perfection. So now let's get started. Here are the ingredients you'll need: flour, warm water, sugar, vegetable oil, salt, and yeast. Please do check the description box below for the measurement of this ingredient. The first step is to activate our yeast. Here I have some warm water. The water should just be warm to the touch. You can try putting your finger. If it doesn't burn you, then that means the water is perfect. I'll add a tablespoon of sugar into the water and then pour in my yeast and give it a good stir and cover and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. If you have a thermometer, the temperature should be between 105 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything more than that is going to kill your yeast. I'll give this a quick stir and then cover and allow it to sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. And while this is activating, I'll go ahead and add some salt into my flour and give it a good whisk. I'll make a well in the center of the flour. This is to enable me pour my wet ingredients. And now my yeast is ready. As you can see, it is frothy, so it is good. But if yours isn't, then that means you have to discard it and get a good yeast. Then I'll add in my sugar, my vegetable oil, and then with the aid of a spatula, I'll combine everything together to form a dough. When making bread, never you add your salt directly to your yeast. It's gonna slow down the rise of the dough. So now my dough has come together. I'll transfer it onto my clean work surface and knead the dough. So before we start kneading, as you can see, the consistency of the dough is wet, lumpy, and sticky. So I will sprinkle a little flour, just a little, on my work surface. I'll also dust my hands with some flour. And then this is how to properly knead your dough. To knead, pull the dough away from you, fold back towards you, and then gently push forward with the heel of your palm. Then you turn a quarter and keep kneading in the same way, just as seen in the video. To avoid using so much flour, when pushing forward, just push gently and lightly, not so hard. If not, the dough is going to stick to your work surface and that will make you use so much flour. And we're trying to avoid using so much flour. I have just been kneading for about 5 minutes. And as you can see, the texture has tremendously changed. It is more elastic, but I'll still continue to knead for about 5 more minutes. Typically, you'll knead this dough for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just depends on how or the technique you use in kneading. If using bread flour, you're just going to knead for about 8 minutes. This is because of the high protein content in bread flour, which helps it develop gluten faster. You can easily tell if your dough is not properly kneaded if it is floppy and loose, tears easily, and still looks shaggy. So right now, form the dough into a ball like this. One way to know if you have kneaded your dough properly is that it will be smooth and supple, and your dough will spring back when you press it like this. You see, it springs back immediately you give it a push. Another way to know is to do the window pane test. It should stretch to form a translucent window. If it rips off easily, then that means you have to keep kneading for a few more minutes. As you can see, I can see my finger through it. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see my fingers through it. So this dough is properly kneaded. I kneaded the dough for roughly about 11 minutes. Yours could be more or less time. Now add 1 to 2 teaspoons of vegetable into your bowl and coat the dough properly so that it doesn't stick when it rises. So right now I'll cover my bowl with a plastic wrap and allow it to sit on my countertop until it is doubled in size. This is going to take roughly about 2 hours depending on the temperature of your kitchen. So after 2 hours now, our dough has risen properly. Lightly dust your work surface with flour. Meanwhile, I have already prepared my loaf pan. I coated it with butter and then sprinkled some flour and with parchment paper. It's not necessary if you don't have a parchment paper, you can do without it. Now I'll transfer my dough onto my work surface and just use my hand and walk through it. As you can see, it is supple and soft and easy to work with. I'll just use my fingers and then push it around, then fold it as seen in the video, and then I'll turn it and use a rolling pin now to properly degas and shape our dough. Some people don't do this step, they just degas and then shape the dough. So you can decide to skip this part. Just make sure you degas your dough so that you don't have lots of air pockets after the dough has finished baking. So right now I have been turning and flattening the dough with my rolling pin. So right now I'll measure my pan. As you can see, it's about the same size. I'll just flip my dough and then begin to roll it. Right now we're gonna roll the dough to form a log. And as you roll, you tuck in both ends. So right now, you pinch the ends and even the sides to make sure you seal it up properly. Once that is done, you're going to transfer your dough into your loaf pan. So right now, this is ready for second proofing. But before that, I'll grease my plastic wrap so that it doesn't stick when I come to take it off. You can as well use a clean kitchen towel. I'll cover this and allow it to sit on my countertop for 1 hour. So this is after 1 hour. My dough has risen above my pan by about 1 inch. 15 minutes into the time, I preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and I'll bake this for 25 to 30 minutes. You just keep an eye at 25 minutes. After 30 minutes, this is what we've got, a beautiful loaf of bread. I'll allow it to sit in the pan for about 5 minutes before I take it out to cool it on the cooling rack completely. Now transfer onto your wire rack and cool completely before slicing. Now look at that fantastic loaf of bread. You can also make this at the comfort of your home. And it's so light and fluffy. The yeasty aroma of freshly baked bread fills my house right now. It smells really good in here. Now the hard part is waiting for it to cool down completely before slicing. Please never slice a hot bread, if not it's gonna affect the texture and flavor, making it gummier and less airy, and it also make the bread go stale and dry out much faster. Now look at that beautiful crumb. Wow. It's so soft and fluffy. I hope you do give this recipe a try because you absolutely love it. For comments, questions, and contributions, please leave it in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This can stay fresh for 2 to 3 days on your countertop, airtight. Or you can wrap tightly and then freeze it for up to a month. And don't forget to subscribe. I would like to have you here. Turn on the notification bell. I don't want you to miss out whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next one soon. Bye.